Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to hear this from me, and what I'm about to tell you is the actual truth. The honest-to-God truth. I kid you not. I am not drunk right now after reviewing that horrible Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Bumblebee figure. I am not drunk. I am not fibbing. This is the honest-to-God truth right here that I'm about to shout it out. I love this toy. This is really what Hasbro should have been doing with the Robots in Disguise line. I kid you not. This truck mode is just by far superior compared to its actual first edition counterpart. While the paint does go a little more beyond with this one, the fact that this truck mode does not look anything like the actual cartoon or CGI animated series itself, it really does stand out from this. This is by far the better one. I mean it. In all superiority, right here. If that's even a word. If not, I just made it up, put it in the dictionary. Superiority goes to this one. This is the better truck mode. The better Optimus Prime truck. It's got more of what the show actually has. It's got painted headlights, while the back doesn't have anything, really. And, I mean, the grill is actually painted. They actually painted the grill. You can tell by the paint streaks on this thing, if you can actually see those ridges right there. It's actually painted. This one, on the other hand, is just a dull gray plastic, the original mold that it came in. And why did they not paint the headlights? The headlights are not painted while this one is. The cheaper line is... It's got more? I mean, what is going on here? This is just, you guys can see the real difference here, obviously, by the windshield itself. I mean, good God, look at the windows on this one, more proportional to the actual semi-truck itself, and the nose itself is a lot shorter. It's got the actual design of what is in the actual show. This one, its nose is too far out, and the windshield, the windows themselves are just, good God, they're so freaking small. And what is with the top? It really doesn't have anything besides this bump, and that's not accurate. This is. Look at the ridges, the design of it. This is what is actually in the show. What is going on here? This is supposed to be the more dominant figure that is supposed to be more cartoon accurate, and yet this one dominates over it. Either way, I am happy with it. I am very happy that this is the one and maybe the only Transformers Robots in Disguise of the Prime series figures that I can actually trust. I can actually say that I enjoy this figure. Nonetheless, robot mode may be a bit crappy, but the actual truck itself, it really deserves its own review. It really does. I kid you guys not. If I could talk about 15 minutes about the truck mode itself, then I would be satisfied with this one review. I kid you guys not. And I just don't get this. While the Robots in Disguise figures themselves do not have their Autobot or Decepticon insignias, why is it that Optimus Prime does? He's got it on the front of his grill, and he's got it on the top of the hood itself. Prove a point that even though some of these figures are crappy in the whole entire line, the fact is, you can actually find some good ones in a crappy toy series. I kid you not. I love this mode. While it could use a little bit more paint just to make it look a lot more superior from the first edition, there is no denying that this is one figure that Hasbro did try. Now, my only complaints come in a certain few points, but I'll just go ahead and say the hubcaps are still not painted. While some of the deluxes of the line are, Bumblebee and Optimus Prime, so far as I know, are the only ones that are still not painted at the hubcaps. Why? I will never know. I guess not. Why is this gray? This is a separate piece from right here, from the windows themselves. Hasbro could have molded this in red. Instead, they did it in gray, and it does stand out from the truck itself. Makes it look a little disappointing, but really, after everything that I've seen and reviewed about this figure before actually starting this review, all is forgiven. I kid you not. All is forgiven. I love the fact that the smokestacks are actually molded in plastic. They're not rubber. They are plastic. They don't bend. While the first edition are a rubber plastic. Yeah, and they're not painted. I love this sword. This sword is by far superior from the first edition. It is plastic. It is not rubber. It is not rubber. It is actually plastic. And the detailing on it is pretty nice. If we can get a nice look at that, thank you. There you go. There you go. You can see it all. And it does peg into this eyesore. The fact that it's a Voyager figure, like Dark of the Moon figures, where their weapons lock into place, this one does not. It does not lock, people. I've tried so many times to actually get this thing to lock into place. I finally gave up. I tried to take the spring out, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I could not get into it. It doesn't even look right. I mean, the barrel of the gun itself should be down here. And yet it's standing up, where it looks so disproportionate. And just, it's not even the weapon he uses in the show, so this is a big letdown. But at least it does, I mean, it pegs into place, kind of, where it's supposed to go, according to the instructions. Just like the first edition, there are some holes on the back of the truck itself, which, you know, whatever. It's kind of hard to get it out, and it's got some detail, but really, it's horrible. Why does Hasbro continue to throw these obtuse gimmicks at us? Why don't they just go back to what we really love with the Transformer figures? Spring launching projectile! But at least they did give us a better sword than the first edition, and yes, it just pegs right into place. So yeah, it's got storage as well, and the weapons do combine, and that's all I'm going to say about it. The dominant factor is that this is a pretty good truck mode, and with that out of the way, the truck alone, I can actually recommend it. So, taking him into his next mode, we're going into robot mode, and we're going to just fast forward it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I go off the topic, even though I'm trying to finish up this review as quick as I can because I explained a lot of the truck mode. Guys, I'm just going to come out and say it right here without hiding it. This Optimus Prime is well worth a look at. He is actually a pretty cool figure, and the gimmick does actually work for this figure. The translucent arms, well, I am afraid that they might break in a couple of years just because translucent plastic really doesn't last long. I don't know, there's something different about this plastic. It feels a little different, like maybe it's a new style, a new kind of plastic that they're using for translucent. So maybe this figure might surprise me and survive on my shelf in a couple of years. Who knows? We'll see. Speaking about his gimmick, yeah, this gun, I already told you, it's pretty much, it's an obtuse gimmick. It's not good. But it does work. It does not work in the light, people. That's what the problem is. A lot of people have reviewed this figure and I've already talked about how this gimmick sucks. It doesn't suck. It actually does work. It does light up his arms, but only in the dark, which I am going to demonstrate. Now, ladies and gentlemen, while it's not really as dark as it should be, I'm just showing this off. There it is. The arm is lit up with the gun, even though the barrel isn't, which this is supposed to light up the whole entire gun because everything is a clear plastic. It at least does light up the arm, so it does work. A lot of people have been doing this wrong. They've been doing this in light, bright rooms, out in the sun. It has to be done in a darker location because obviously this is an LED. While it is bright, the fact that it's just one light, it really does not light up as good as it does in the dark. So it does work. It does. Alright, now let's go through the articulation. While it's not as a good design as it is for the actual counterpart, which is the first edition Optimus Prime, as you can see the difference in the two. It does actually have a pretty good amount of articulation, and in some spots it's more superior than the first edition. And I'll go ahead and show it off. The ball-jointed neck is not hindered by anything. His head can actually rotate around a full 360 without getting caught. He can look up, he can look down, unlike the first edition Optimus Prime, because of the way that his neck is so fat in design, it just doesn't do much. Ball jointed shoulders. He has bicep rotation. He folds at a 90 degrees at the elbows, just single jointed. And the wrists do have some articulation, though they don't rotate. They actually pivot up and down, and that's due to transformation. That's kind of a letdown right there. No waist articulation due to transformation. Legs are on a ball joint. As you can see, they'll go in many places. The thighs do rotate a full 360, as you can see. The knees are single jointed. They bend at a 90 degrees. Pretty good. And last but not least, the main superior part of this figure, rather than the first edition, the feet are on ball joints, so they'll go in any place. They'll go up, they'll go down pretty far, they'll go side to side, they'll rotate a full 360, and they are not blocked by anything. Not even a big giant truck hood, which, you know, is a letdown. So guys, the articulation on this figure is really great. The only real complaint about this figure, it's not its gimmick, it's the fact that Hasbro could have done something a little more with the back here. A lot of people call this his cape. I can see what people are trying to talk about here. I mean, Hasbro could have done something a lot better. This could have been like two separate pieces right here, and this top could have folded in down here. Or they could have had like an extension to the joint where it actually slides this up, and then this folds down, and it would have looked a lot better. But I really don't see too much of a problem with this in the front. I mean, really, it doesn't bother me as much as it does in the back. It actually looks really good in the front. I kid you guys not. I mean, I've seen bigger backpacks like Human Alliance Sideswipe. But this is not a backpack. This actually is decent. This is pretty good. And I do like the fact that these angle out at the side. That makes it look more sharp to me. It's a really cool figure. And you just can't judge it by its look. You have to have this figure. You have to review him yourself in order to experience what this figure is all about. And its good points, its bad points, and its points where it's more superior than the first edition Optimus Prime. While it's not as great as the first edition, this figure is well worth the look at. And for quick size comparisons with the other RID figures, there's Bumblebee. Yeah, I don't want to talk about this figure anymore. But you guys wanted to see what the size difference is. There you go. That's what you're looking at if you go with the RID figure. But overall, I do like this figure. I really do. And the fact that he's got detail everywhere just makes him pop out even more. And he does have the Autobot symbol. Even though it is not in the center of the shoulder piece. I mean, I guess I can understand because in the truck mode, yada yada yada. But still, I like it. I really do like this figure. He could use a little more paint and a little more love from you guys. But overall, you cannot deny it. Hasbro tried on this one, unlike... So, yeah. I do actually recommend this figure. If you can find him in stores, get him. Don't wait. He's going for like $24.99. At least that's how much I paid for my figure. And I'm not going to kid you guys. I mean, there really is not that much of a difference in scale. I mean, there is, but still, I mean, this figure actually, I feel like I get my money's worth because the gimmick is kind of fun. The transformation's fun. And, I mean, he just looks really cool. And I will be painting some of him just a little bit. But I will be leaving these bare. I will leave them bare because something about it, when it compared with his windshield or his chest piece, it just really makes this figure pop. I like it. I really do like this figure. I like both the truck mode and the robot mode. I kid you guys not. I am not drunk. I am sober. I'm telling you the truth. And this sword is freaking awesome. It is not rubber like the first edition. And if you work with it, you can actually get him to hold it in both hands, which I will demonstrate right here with what time's left. As you can see, he's holding it with both hands, and this figure is just amazing. And hopefully, he will last in your collection, even though he does have translucent arms, which might break later on. So overall, guys, I am very impressed with this figure. Like I said, buy him, don't wait. Get him now. If they're in stores, go get him. Don't wait. He's well worth the purchase and the review. So that's it, guys. That is the end review of Transformers Prime of the RID line, Voyager Optimus Prime. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I will answer them when I have time. Please feel free to check out my Facebook page. I will be uploading some new stuff, and I will be keeping it updated constantly as best as I can. And until the next toy review, guys, this is Red is Power / Sonic Ranger signing out. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Oh yeah, sorry I forgot to mention this during the review. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he does have lead piping! Just like this one!